In this video, I'm going to go over the smooth constraint in Autodesk Inventor. Now, the smooth constraint works only on splines, and it is used to make the spline have a tangent-like condition or a smooth condition between the spline and an adjacent line. So if we take a look at my first example here, we can see where this spline in lime green here meets the lines on the left side and the right side. We have little corners happening there. That is not a smooth transition between the line and the spline there on either end. So if we want to smooth that out, we can use the smooth constraint, which can be found down here in the bottom left of the constraint panel. So I'm going to left click on it to activate it. And then we just select the line and then the spline, and it sort of straightens out that spline, or it modifies the curvature of that spline so that it is nice and smooth to that line there. And we can do that on both ends of this spline. So I'll do it here on the right side. So you can see that was a fairly drastic change here on the right, where it had to change the curvature of that spline quite a bit in order for it to have a smooth transition to this horizontal line over here. Now let's take a look at the second example. So on the second example, again, on the left side here, I have a spline that comes into this horizontal line with a very clear corner there, which is not what we want. So I'm going to create a smooth transition between this line and the spline there, and it modifies that spline to make that work. Now, if we take a look at the other end of the line, we can see that this isn't a spline here. This is just an arc that I've drawn. You can see the arc is very clearly creating a corner here with this line. So let's try using the smooth constraint on this. So you'll see what happens when you try to use the smooth constraint with something that isn't a spline. You're going to get an error message here. So it doesn't work with any other types of geometry. It only works with splines because it can modify, because splines have that continuously changing radius. You can see that the curvature here is continuously changing, unlike an arc, which is a very uniform radius all the way around. So it can modify that to make that smooth transition. Whereas the arc doesn't offer that same opportunity, so it doesn't work with the arc. If I wanted this arc to have a smooth transition to this line, I would have to use my tangent constraint. So that's how we can use the smooth constraint with our geometric constraints here in Autodesk Inventor.